Mm. Hello. How are you, Miss Bex?
Hi.
What's going on?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right. How's your year going so far?
Um, I feel like it's been a pretty slow in some aspects, but I think it's gonna be a big one
A
for
big
a big year. Yeah, I had 3 gigs already, so I'm going in hard with the gigs this year.
sweet. So, a lot of people out there already know who you are. What were you doing before you signed up for with MDE and Fish Tank? Like, how did you get involved in all of that?
Well, before I got involved with that, I mean, I was always a fan, so I was watching Sam's content on Adult Swim when that came out, and that's always been in my sphere of content, I guess. But before that, or like during that time, I got into editing videos for a journalist named Derek Bros, and he was doing these reports on COVID, and he hit me up in 2020 and just he needed a video like turned out in like 6 days, and I hadn't edited in a long time, but I had a friend that knew him. I was like, "Oh, do you still do this?" And so I started editing videos for him, and they went kind of viral in 2020. So then we started editing a documentary series together. I also worked for Mark Passio and uh, who else? Oh gosh, Mariam Haneen, who did like the Secret Life of Bees or something like that. I can't remember. It was some documentary she did with like Ellen Page as the narrator. But I was doing all this editing, and during that time, I also made music, was putting out content a lot on social media, and Sam had posted. This is like pre iDubbbz doc, like this was a Happy World Daddy kind of stuff, and he was posting about follow my crew, and he had Jet, Bick. He was posting all their names, and I immediately went and followed all of them. And I feel like that's before they have as much of a following as they do now. And also, I'm a girl, so they saw me, and I got the follow back. So it was just kind of a timing thing. And Jet had been seeing some of the work I was doing, and I think he thought it was interesting and good. And so Bick heard my music, and so I just kind of like over time built this relationship with them, and got it when I was into crypto. So then we were all talking crypto, like here and there on like Instagram and Discord and stuff. And eventually, I got into the Mondo Megabits. I was in that NFT project and went out to Mondo Palooza in LA, and I met all of them there, and I wasn't a creepy psycho fan. I think they realized I was a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, still kept in contact. And then randomly, they were doing another Mondo in New York. They hit me up and wanted me to DJ it. And I was like sick. So they flew me out there. I DJ'd the event. And that Sunday night, I DJ'd, and it was lit. It was pretty lit. Everyone was dancing, and then I left, and that was that. And then randomly, Jet hit me up and asked if I needed more work, and asked if I wanted to work on Fishtank.
Yeah, I
Definitely a
remember.
lot.
I remember seeing like some clips of you on social media DJing. I think at the Mondo was it 2022, right? That summer, something like that.
Yeah, I think like August or something.
Um,
Yeah.
Jet and Max. I haven't spoke with Jet, but I've heard Jet say it on streams and stuff. But we did speak with Max a couple weeks ago, and they said that essentially like you're the grease in the wheels, like you're a very integral part, and you kept season 2 going, and even parts of 2.5 going for the most part. Um, for the people out there who don't know, like what were your duties? What all did you do when you were on season 2?
So when I was on season 2, initially I was brought on just for wardrobe and set design. That was my initial job. I wasn't even supposed to be staying for season 2. I was supposed to leave right when Josie and Vance got there and the show started. Well, they were editing season 1, and I think they just did not have a lot of time to like really invest. And so me and their other contractor, Shaman Joe, we call him Shaman Joe, but I helped him like paint the walls, strip all the wallpaper off. We were in there like up late at night, going hard in that house, and like I was letting in the contractors. I was kind of staying in that house by myself for the most part up until like probably the last 2 weeks before season 2. Then Jet and Ben were there very consistently, but that season 1 edit I think sucked up a lot of their time. Anyway, so then start of season 2, I was getting all my stuff packed, and then randomly they're like, Max and Jet were like, "Do you want to stay on and be an extra set of hands?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And so I was like a runner for challenges, getting items for challenges. I kind of did a lot of different things. It was just kind of like do this, do that. I made sure people were fed. I think I did the thing. I kind of was like the person that was like taking a step back and seeing what was needed to be taken care of as much as I could. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was like one day where I think I bought groceries and I stocked the fridge, and that night they dumped the whole fridge over, and I was like, shit. Mm-hmm. I just stocked the fridge, But I think I was there to also greet a lot of the contestants or freeloaders. And that became, I feel like my job evolved in 2.5 and Bitch Tank to being the person that made sure the contracts were signed, and, I made the iFunny, banners in 2.5. Like, I was like, whatever they needed to be done, I did. I did some, but mostly in 2, I did set design, costumes, and then just ran around like a psychopath and did whatever they asked me to do.
Yeah, I remember they said that they would send you out for like grocery runs and things like that. What the fuck just happened?
What? Hello?
My entire computer just went crazy.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Am I here? Can you see me?
Go ahead and fix your camera real quick.
Yeah, you're just frozen.
What happened? Oh, it broke. It broke down. Why is it? This is the worst possible photo you can show of me. Oh my god! I will be right back. Give me 1 second.
You're good. You're good.
Worst freeze frame ever.
Oh, my OBS crashed. All right. Sorry. Okay, so I could just talk. You can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the weird and wacky things that they had you grab? Like, you were like, you really have me going out and grabbing this?
I mean, the AIDS test was like the most insane. I had to get like 10 AIDS tests, like HIV at-home tests. And I think that was the most crazy because I was walking through Target and I had like stacks. And he was like, I want 10. And they were exactly 10. And I ran out with those.
Did you self check out, or did you?
I think I actually went to because they were in. I think they were in if I'm remembering correctly, I think they're in like the boxes they have to unlock. If I remember correctly, there was a couple of times where things like that happened. I don't think I went through self checkout, which was even funnier. But then I had to go back. Like 2 more times that night to get other AIDS tests because of the false positive for Shinji, and it was like snowing, and it was like a huge snowstorm, and he's like, we need another, and I went and got another, and then Dunye fucked that one up, so then I had to go back out and get another one, and it was like 2, I don't know, 1 in the morning or something.
Yeah, Sam got really mad with them fucking with the AIDS tests before they were supposed to. One of the things, the set design in season 2 house was really awesome. And I know just like having a nice taste in certain things, right? That some of the items in the house were probably pretty pricey. Can you tell us like what your limit was on set design for season 2?
Well, I can say that I didn't really. The thing about them is, I feel like that's something that's always been unclear. It's just kind of like get it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have. I had budgets on some things, like for instance, a lot of the furniture. I had a friend that found out about an auction where it was like a bunch of mid-century modern furniture, and I think they gave me like $2,000, and we got a lot of stuff for $2,000. Like I think
nice. That multicolored couch was so cool. The big L-shaped couch.
So that actually was just from their studio. They had that, so it fit perfectly. So that was like something that they didn't have to really spend money on. I'm trying to think. Like I bought, I mean, like the leather couch. There was like the day bed. It was kind of ugly, but it was in the den, I think. Yeah, all the chairs and all that. I got a lot of that off an auction, and then some of the stuff off Facebook Marketplace. There was those pillars. There were like white pillars. I got those off some antique place in Cranston in Rhode Island. I mean, I was just kind of like going wherever. Jet and I had went to an antique store where they got us to a garage sale. It was just a lot of like networking and trying to figure out where things were. Nick had a lot of good recommendations as well. So all of us kind of pitched in together to find the items and do it, get it done.
If you're ever with
the budget was.
If you're ever with Jet in an antique store, that would be very entertaining. I'd love to see Jet walking around an antique store.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
What were some things that happened in season 2, like behind the scenes that we might not have seen?
I mean, like some of the challenges, like some of the things I had to do for like the challenges, for instance, in the cell, Sam's lists when he would send me to the store were like nuts. It would be like sleeping bags, basketballs, 30 gallons of milk. I remember one day I was getting 30 gallons of non-fat milk, so it didn't smell as bad when it went bad. And I'm like sitting there pulling all this milk out. I'm filling up 2 carts, and the guy in the back's just like feeding me more milk as I'm pulling them. It was like nuts. But I think that one of the craziest things was he had me go out and get all the stuff. I come back, and he's like, he made me get like 6 carton eggs. He's like, we need hard-boiled eggs. And I was like, dude, that takes a while to make, you know? So for the challenge in the cell, where we had him bobbing for the eggs, I don't know if you remember that. But so I hard-boiled all those eggs on my own and hand-peeled. It was like 70 eggs. And when we were just sitting there, I was sitting there just going. Josie helped me for a little bit, but the smell was insane. But those are like little things that I was doing, but funny moments. Like the pregnancy test was kind of funny when that fake pregnancy test happened for Trish. She was like, I don't understand. She was trying to make me take a pregnancy, one of them. I was like, no. The Jimmy code, his like book of codes or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Finding that out, watching Jet. Like Jet's kind of good at noticing when people are sending code words to the contestants. He's very good at like keeping an eye on that and watching him figure that out, and then like how we can like play with this idea to get the book and like kind of fuck with Jimmy. And like I don't know, the way that unraveled was like an insane adrenaline rush. That's something you don't see, you know. We're like back there, we're almost like watching it as everyone else.
Like investigating it at the same time and trying to figure out what was going on. Jimmy was on last week and he like read all of the codes out to us and like what they meant. I don't understand how he was supposed to remember any of them. They're so crazy.
Yeah, I remember he kept telling me to get. Oh, one of them was every time they ask you to go to the store to get talcum powder.
Oh yeah, he's got to talc his balls, right? Yeah,
yeah, and he did. He asked me that.
Ancient emperors used to talc on the daily.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Who in season 2? I know you want to say all of them, but who were your favorite fish during season 2?
If I'm being honest, I want to say none of them.
None of them.
I personally, I love them all to death. I love them all to death. This is no shade, but nobody really like. I couldn't root for anybody. I don't know why it was. It was more of a like watching the environment unfold on these people. It was less about the people in that season to me, and maybe it was different because I was less of a voyeurist because I was a big fan of season 1, and I did have like I loved John. I thought he was hilarious. Like I didn't like him at first, and then he kind of grows. Then you don't like him. You go back and forth.
Yeah, I think I saw you on social media the other day, and you were with John.
Yeah. It's a funny relationship because like with the whole makeup thing, he's blocked me many times, like, but we've, I think he's a good dude. You gotta work through things sometimes, I guess. But he's very genuine and like, he's a heel. I think he's like a classic heel that I don't think anybody's as good at. I haven't seen a better heel on Fishtank, in my opinion. So I think I'm a fan of that.
I think there's definitely this last season definitely brought out some heels. Definitely one major heel right now, but we don't really talk about
Alex.
Yeah, I don't talk.
We're not going to talk. We're not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about Alex. He does.
Fair.
He thinks I'm 55, but we'll talk about that some other time. Okay. So yeah, I guess what you're saying makes sense, right? Being a fan and then actually having to work with all these people and just being like, I can't connect with any of these people. Like they're just.
I could pick someone. Like I think it's just like TJ was fine. I just feel like nobody really grew in a way that was satisfying to me, I guess. It felt because I feel like part of Fishtank is seeing the destruction of the ego and like people kind of coming out of their shell. Honestly, maybe Trish. I actually really enjoy, especially seeing the edits. I realize Trish. Oh, Cole. Cole was pretty good. Okay, I forgot about Cole.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
Cole was my favorite in season 2. I take it all back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wish he wouldn't have left as early as he did. I think he had a pretty good story, pretty good character arc.
Yeah, I think I forget just because he didn't go that long.
During New Year's Eve of season 3, you put up a wild set, right? Going into 1973. Really good. One of my favorite moments is when you went upstairs with the speaker and Trish was twerking on Nifty. It was probably one of my favorite moments of season 2.